All right, let's jump right into something pretty fascinating today. We're going to explore this whole idea of intellectual solitude. Basically, getting into the psychology behind why some of the sharpest people out there often choose to be on their own.
I mean, you've probably thought about this, right? You look at someone who is just brilliant. They're witty, successful, they have so much going for them, but they're single. It's something you see all the time, and today we're going to unpack the real psychology behind why that might be. And let's be really clear about something right up front. This isn't about judging anyone or saying anything is wrong. Not at all. We're just diving into the psychological wiring, the unique mindset that seems to come with high intelligence when it comes to relationships.
Okay, so here's the absolute key to understanding this whole thing. For a lot of highly intelligent people, being single isn't some kind of failure. It's not because they can't find someone. It actually comes from a completely different perspective on what a relationship should even be.
So, what is that different perspective? Well, it really boils down to a few core traits that shape how they make decisions. We're going to break down the three big ones.
So, the three main drivers we're going to look at are having really high internal standards, a kind of advanced pattern recognition, and placing a huge value on personal autonomy. Now, those high standards are sort of the foundation for everything, but the first action we're going to explore is that pattern recognition. It's a game changer.
This first concept is so interesting. Seriously, think of it like a special ability in social situations. Almost like being able to see the potential end of a relationship right from the very beginning, just based on those first few interactions.
So let's look at what we mean by relational pattern recognition. This isn't about solving math problems or logic puzzles. We're talking about applying that same analytical brain to human behavior, spotting these tiny little inconsistencies, connecting the dots to bigger potential problems, and basically forecasting whether things are going to work out long-term or not.
And here's exactly how that works in the real world. It's like a three-step process. First, they're just observing, paying super close attention to the little things people say and do. Then, they start to connect those small details to bigger patterns, identifying potential red flags. And finally, and this is the key part, they make a logical call to step away, to disengage before they get too emotionally invested. Now let's move on to the next big driver, because this builds on that last point perfectly. It's this deep, deep value they place on autonomy. It's about cherishing your own peace, your own personal growth, and your own freedom so much that being alone is a way, way better option than being in the wrong relationship.
This right here draws such a perfect line in the sand. On one side, you have choices that are driven by a fear of being alone, and that's what can lead people to settle. But on the other side, you've got this mindset that really values autonomy, a mindset that prioritizes things like growth and just peace. From that perspective, being single isn't a problem you need to fix. It's a completely valid and often really fulfilling way to live.
So once you put all these pieces together, you can see the whole narrative differently. It stops being about someone being alone or unwanted. It's really about a conscious choice for autonomy, a choice that's powered by that sharp ability to see what's coming and by those really high internal standards we talked about.
I think this quote just absolutely nails it. Solitude isn't some second-place prize. For someone who truly values their own mind, their own growth, and their own well-being, it can literally be the best, most valuable option they have.
And that's really the main takeaway here. Those high standards we've been talking about, they're not about being picky just for the fun of it. The ultimate goal is to find a partner who genuinely makes life better, someone who adds real value and depth, not just someone to fill an empty chair. So we'll leave you with this final thought to kind of chew on. It's a question that goes way beyond just dating, really. What is the true difference between just being alone and consciously choosing a life of autonomy? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.